Welcome back to Safa's Unscripted, episode 136, boys. Good weekend of rugby. We struggled to find a topic, so we just said, listen, we're going to integrate everything. We're going to talk about some comments. I've highlighted two. We're going to talk about the current state of rugby as a whole. And then we're going to have a little bit of fun with this or that. Anyway, Brett, how are you doing, man?
Good. Yeah, good to be alive and kicking. Quite excited that the Stormers are playing well. So I'm happy as a person.
Undefeated this far, 1 from 1.
Who's Stormers?
Yeah, 1 from 1. We didn't play.
Cool.
Brevan, what are you saying, man?
What's up? All good. I mean, at this point, it's like we're just trying to find as much content as possible because obviously URC can only be spoken about so much. Keen to talk about where rugby's at and obviously some this or that. Obviously, I mean, some interesting teams may be mentioned and some will agree, some will disagree, and that's the whole point. So obviously we love it when people interact with us and give us their opinion, and keen.
Yeah. Boys, as you guys know, I'm pretty outspoken when it comes to two people. One is JC Pretorius, and the other one is getting Stefan Ungerer out of my face. Okay? And the replacement, obviously, we talked about with the Stormers, is Sanele Nohamba. Now, I'm going to the comment section, and I was reading, and I saw someone saying, Lions fan here, casual, hands off JC and Nohamba. I will fight you. Listen, I did MMA, okay? And I will personally pay for them to come to the Stormers. Personally, I would pay for them. I would go bankrupt. I'd go make a loan. And I'd pay for them to come to the Stormers. JC Pretorius, unreal. Stefan Ungerer, unreal. I have no words. Give me Sanele Nohamba, give me JC Pretorius. I just thought, I saw this comment, and I had to talk about it. Brett, wouldn't you love a little bit of JC Pretorius and Sanele Nohamba at the Stormers?
I wouldn't mind some JC Pretorius, but on the weekend when Nohamba came on, I was sitting with someone and I said, when Nohamba got bounced and handed off and thrown like a rag doll, I said, and that is why Nohamba will never play for the Springboks. So I wouldn't want to bounce.
It's a bit different, don't you think?
It's not different. It's really not. One of my good friends, probably the smallest, skinniest guy I know, I've never seen him miss a tackle. So you can't use his size and he was a fullback. So no, I'm sorry. If you're at that level, you are literally training every single day of your life. Literally every day. Make the damn tackles.
But would you rather have Nohamba or Ungerer?
I'd go without both of them.
Would you go Devil Duvenage?
Yes. Yeah. I'll go JC Pretorius at 9 before I take one of those two.
Oh, that's a lie. You can't be serious saying that, Brett.
I've never rated Nohamba. You guys have known this, and now the last game just proved to me again. He came on the field, and they scored 5 points after leading 48-0. So no, I'm sorry, he's not the be-all and end-all that people see. People will have to convince me otherwise, but no, sorry.
Okay. But JC Pretorius, Brevan, how good is that guy?
JC is obvious. Anyone would take him. It'd be silly not to. But with Brett on Nohamba, at professional rugby, you cannot hide. If let's say he's playing 10, right? You can't hide your 10 on wing every time it's a defensive play, just because he can't tackle properly. You know, it is a big issue. Realistically, he could have all the flair in the world, which he does. I think he's a very good attacking player, but defense is an important part of the game nowadays. You know, so. Yeah, if you want to play him, he has to be played at 9. because there
Yep.
at least you're not making as many tackles as what you would at 10. And then obviously when he does play 10, like I said, they just hide him on the wing. And we saw what Hooker did when he found him out on the wing. So yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, fair enough.
Why are you advocating for Nahamba?
Why am
What
I?
do you see? What do you
Because-
see that you don't see?
Because I would love the combination work of Nohamba and Mani. Take the Mani kicking duties away. Have Mani just play some rugby. Give the kicking duties to Nohamba. I mean, for the way that the Stormers play, right? I don't see our nines ever making tackles, right? So you have Nohamba just purely focusing on attack. That's what the Stormers do. Just attack, attack, attack. He gives you that attacking outlet, creativity. Him and Mani, I think that is a brilliant piece of combination work in terms of creativity. I think that is how you unlock any defense in the world.
I think
Don't
it's
you?
gonna. I think it will downgrade Moni's game.
Where's Herschel Yankees?
Still injured.
Oh, okay. Anyway, let's move on to the second comment. Oh, this is actually an interesting one. Ruan Pretorius. He said, just to think that the SA teams have a good starting squads, but when the backup players come on, it's just not the same level as the rest of the franchises. Do we still believe that our depth is an issue? Because I feel like it's gradually getting better. Like if you look at the Bulls, obviously the Sharks, the Stormers, probably not as much because we're selling all of our players. But I kind of think we are competing more and more in terms of depth. Like Brevin, we spoke about it with the Bulls. We said, listen, when they play Champions Cup, there's no more excuses. You play a full strength team. We've been building depth for how many years? You've bought in quality players that you can bring from the bench. I truly believe that our bench players or our backups aren't that far behind anymore compared to the rest of the URC.
Yeah, like I do think there has been some strides in making better depth for every single union. I mean, the Bulls are finding a way to, have players that would usually 2 years ago be starting for the Bulls and now are gradually moving towards a more backup role. Sharks, obviously, the depth there is crazy just because of the players they have. I mean, you look at who they have, and then you still see there could even be space for Springboks like Trevor Nyakane on the bench, for example. So, that's obviously good for them. And then I still think there is a bit of an issue when it comes to depth because, and we see it especially when the Springboks play, well, obviously because all the Springboks are gone, but I just feel like the chemistry goes away. And it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't. Like I said, it's getting better, but I still think there's a lot of work to do in building that depth to what it can possibly be. But it will come with every single season that's played, So I don't doubt that it won't get to this top standards like Leinster, for example. So yeah.
Brett, are you on the same wavelength?
I am. I just that last part. I don't think Leinster's at the top level. If you're on the top level, you'd win trophies. So if your depth was good enough, you could have 5 injuries and still win a trophy. I don't think Leinster has that much quality depth. Their match day 23 is solid, but after that, they're not so solid for me.
Yeah, I just think like with Leinster, right? I don't see it as a depth issue. I see it more of a mentality. Okay, maybe mentality is the wrong word, but there's definitely we get to high pressure situations in the past 3 seasons and we kind of throw it away, So that's what I would probably lay it down to because they've made it to finals and messed up there, made it to semi-finals, messed up there. So yeah, but like the reason I say Leinster is just because we've seen so many times when the whole of their squad goes and plays for Ireland, basically, we see their backup team come in and do get some results. So that's why I say, whereas the Bulls, if you send a whole Bulls team to the Springboks, I don't think we'd win much, considering what we have left, if that makes sense. So yeah.
But Leinster is probably the most well-run club or franchise in the world. like if you look at the amount of academy guys that come through and represent Leinster, like their full strength team and stuff, like it's crazy. A lot of those guys that play for Leinster, they come through the academy, the Leinster Academy. So no, Saracens, no. Leinster's definitely more well run than Saracens.
To be fair, back in the day, Saracens was something else.
And
Yeah.
Saracens Academy is also, their scholarship programs are insane.
Well, Saracens this season, they're looking on fire. I don't know if you guys have been keeping one eye on the Prem as well. We obviously don't get all the broadcasting, but they've been looking good. They made Exeter look like they're absolutely nothing this weekend. Like I actually watched that game because I had money on it. But yeah. Anyway, let's actually get to some of the topics for today. And this was a post that I saw yesterday. Shout out to Captain Springbok on Twitter, or X if you want to call it. He made a post where it said that if South Africa win all their games, and so does Ireland in the Autumn Nation Series, SA will still go to number 1. If Ireland drops a game and New Zealand win all of their games, Ireland goes to number 3, New Zealand goes to number 2. However, if South Africa drops a game and so does Ireland, but New Zealand win all their games, New Zealand goes to number 1, South Africa number 2, and Ireland number 3. And the takeaway that I got from this was not to banter Ireland or anything like that, or say it's in South African hands, but I kind of want to talk about the state of rugby. I truly believe like this is a more wholesome thing, where it's like we are in a golden era of rugby. Like this was just purely focused on international rugby, but I feel like we don't always just appreciate it for what it's worth right now. I made a video and I spoke about it like during 2009 to 2015 almost. You could conclusively say the All Blacks were the best. But now you get from position 1 to position 6 that can kind of, everyone can beat each other, and we've seen it, right? Mm-hmm. How good is international rugby, firstly, before we get on to the others? Do you guys agree that we are kind of in a golden era of rugby? Like it's just beautiful to watch at the moment. It's so unpredictable, which makes it amazing. Brett?
Yeah, for me growing up, I've been a rugby fan since I can actually remember. It's always been a big thing for me. But whenever South Africa, Australia, or New Zealand used to travel, you'd know Southern Hemisphere is going to dominate, regardless of who they play. Some teams might come close, like in the Wilkinson days. England used to do well, but it was almost never a threat. Like South Africa would be at the absolute worst, and it'll never be a threat to play against a Wales or a Ireland for that matter, or whatever. And now it's you go to the Principality or you go to the Viva or whatever, and you get quite nervous. Like your pride and joy team, world champions, could lose this game. So yes, I thoroughly agree that rugby fans around the world should count themselves extremely lucky, and not only because of how well the rugby is, but people like us that are trying to grow it on a amateur level, like not an amateur, like what we are, man.
On the smaller scale, we're not big media outlets.
Yeah, and so the way social media is going and everything is there. So people must consider themselves very lucky.
Brevan?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's in a very good spot, and like you said, anyone could beat anyone on anyone's day. So, for the past 2 years, maybe, other than when we played like Tonga or like in Namibia or Canada or something like that, I genuinely thought like there's a possibility we could not lose, but you have that slight nervousness about you, and especially when you travel north. I mean, traveling north isn't easy, especially traveling in November, because it's very cold. Climates are just weird. It's a whole different kind of preparation compared to what it is down here in South Africa. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see how, for example, all of those situations can happen if Ireland lose one game or whatever. But at the end of the day, I personally think the world rankings are a farce. I mean, we can all kind of just know who's 1, 2, 3. I mean, South Africa and Ireland are definitely 1 and 2. South Africa 1, Ireland 2, in my opinion. But the Irish will have a different idea, obviously. But genuinely, it's been going around social media and not just South Africans, but people are saying it's obvious South Africa are number 1 in the world, Ireland number 2, and then French and New Zealand battle out for 3rd and 4th. England were doing well at this stage. So like you say, everyone's just there at the moment. You know, everyone's finding like just some kind of form. But yeah, we'll see when November comes because obviously some big games. I think South Africa probably should go 3 for 3, in my personal opinion.
If we don't, it's a disappointment.
Yeah, like with England, they've lost a lot of. I mean, obviously Felix Jones is working remotely now. He's not even involved in the.
It's part of the media team now. I mean,
Yeah, like
I don't know what's going on there.
so. I think they're going through a bit of the RFU's struggling there somewhere. But other than that, yeah, I think we should go 3 for 3, and hopefully the All Blacks do us a favor so we can officially be number 1. You know.
Just to add on it, I mean, like every game just feels almost edge of your seat stuff. I'm not even talking just about, for instance, the Springboks. Obviously, we had the Rugby World Cup 3 in a row, literally 1-point victories. You look at New Zealand, England, so close, yet New Zealand pulled South Africa close. So now all of a sudden it's like, well, is there a possibility that England could beat South Africa? You see Ireland and South Africa going 1 for 1. Italy beating France. I mean, or drawing against them. Scotland beating France. You know, like this is a beautiful era of rugby, and it's not only in international level. It actually goes through to club level as well. I feel like there's a bit more hype this season around the URC that there's been previously. You look at the teams that we kind of wrote off in the past. You saw the massive upset of Zebra. You saw the Dragons. They're actually playing well. It's like, I know it's not the best Sharks team at the moment. They don't have their Springboks, but it's not like the Sharks are playing as bad as last season. Like Connacht are looking good. The Sharks pushed them, but all of a sudden, Dragons arguably should have won that game. Dragons looked okay against Leinster. The Premiership looking on fire at the moment. Like it's just a glorious watch at the moment. Like
James O'Connor signing with the Crusaders.
Wow, yeah.
Augustine Creevy with Benetton. It's like some
Yeah.
good signings.
I'm very excited for the rest of this year, but just what you're saying is factual that we have so much to look forward to because some teams like who's the guys that got liquidated, but they now going to try and come back in the UK.
London Irish.
No, it's not them. The other one,
Wasps.
Yeah. Okay.
They apparently trying to come back. So
haven't they got that Qatar money or something like that now? That oil money.
But when they come back, they have to start from the bottom. They have to literally work themselves up.
They'll do it like this. Give it a couple of years and you'll see them back at the top because they'll just splash some money there. Yeah, and it'll look fine. Even, by the way, even the women's game going pretty well. Like we saw the Springbok women placing the highest that we've ever been. Well done.
Yeah.
Promotion for it through the roof. Anyway, let's move over to a little this or that. Just some fun on a Wednesday. We usually had our fun Wednesday episodes until the schedule just got absolutely stacked. So we're just going to do a little this or that and I hope we come up with some stuff off the cuff because we have not prepared a single thing for this one.
Yeah, it's in the name.
Starting off, Brett, I saw your video today on the Tiki Taki and you said, well, I'll just pose the question to Brevan first. Who's the better coach? Rassie Erasmus, Steve Hansen?
It's Rassie Erasmus. Don't. I won't take anything away from Hansen. However, look at the players he had at his disposal. Rassie Erasmus made the players he had at his disposal. Every single one of them, he made them into what they are today. And I won't take nothing from
people.
Anyone.
Might not like it that you answer.
I don't want to. That's fine. Like, obviously, I'm usually the one that's very subtle with my answers, but I'll be honest with you. you cannot not say it's Rassie Erasmus because one, he took a team that lost in 2018. 2017, they lost 57-0 to the All Blacks, right? He took that team and he won the World Cup in 2009. Same set of players. Well, he obviously didn't lose that All Black game, but he took that same set of players and won them the World Cup. Yes, we've lost a few on the way, but that's never been Rassie's goal to win every single game. Obviously, he had a process he wanted to follow, and the process won't always go 100%. It's part of life. But then to go again when you're being told, no, France have got this one, Ireland have got this one. It's just, unfortunately, it's not the Southern Hemisphere's turn this time. And he goes and he wins it again. Then he goes and wins the Rugby Championship. He's won 2 Rugby Championships now. Obviously, the All Blacks, don't get me wrong, their achievements are insane. But if you look at those players, you could have put Alistair Coetzee at the helm, and I promise you would have won stuff with that team.
Yeah, but
I
they would
agree.
say the same now.
Let me just add on to that. So if you take Steve Hansen, he's come. So All Blacks in the last 100 years have been the most successful sporting team in all sports in history. They have the highest win record of all professional teams. Steve Hansen didn't do that. South Africa lost to Italy. They lost to Japan. They lost 57-0 at Invercargill. Was it Invercargill?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where it was. But
Could have
they
been
also
anywhere.
lost-
It doesn't
they
really
lost-
matter.
They got thumped by Ireland, if you remember correctly, as well.
33-30
Yes.
to Ireland.
Yeah.
Yes. All these were big losses. And to take that same team, what you just said is flipping spot on. Like, I almost got tears in my eyes again when you spoke about the World Cup final, winning that part. It just, like, I don't know, Steve Hansen would not have taken this South African team with all his cultural beliefs and whatever, and the way he implements things in practices and stuff. He wouldn't take that same team and make them world champions because he already came from a winning culture side. To make a team give a team a winning culture and self-belief and the ability to play good rugby, that just makes you a better coach already.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Like,
Look,
this is in no way a slight to Steve Hansen. Like, I mean,
Absolutely
if
not.
you can have a team that goes 4 years and more than a 90% record, or they've lost 3 games in like that 4 years or something, that blows my mind. That is absolutely crazy. And it's not like they're playing like scrubs. They were playing South Africa, they were playing the Wallabies back when we said the Wallabies had good players as well. Yeah, so that was absolutely insane. But it comes down to that thing where, like, can the one replicate what the other one did? And it's more likely that Rassie could probably, well, in our opinion, do what Steve Hansen
Yeah,
did.
look, I think I'm exaggerating when I say Alistair Coetzee could do the things that they say. I think I'm exaggerating. But what I'm trying to say there is there are lots of coaches that could have done what Steve Hansen did with that specific All Blacks team. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't see any coach being able to do what Rassie did with the Springboks. And I'll use other sports for example, right? You just have special managers and special coaches in the world, right? If you look at a United, for example, Sir Alex Ferguson did some special things with that United team for many years. They've been trying for 10 years now, I think it is, to try and solve this issue, and they can't. No matter how many managers they put in, sometimes you just need to look at what you had,
Glazers
or
out.
what you have. Of course, always Glazers must go. But what I'm trying to say is sometimes you just have that special coach, and I truly think Rassie is. Not only did he change a whole rugby team dynamic, he changed the whole country's dynamic. And to do that, I swear, it takes another level of just being a smart rugby brain. And we see with his innovation, when obviously the All Blacks had their flair and they were very well-oiled side, and every player was so good at what they did. But if you look at the Springbok side now, the innovation they're bringing into mauls, different set plays, everything. It's things you've never seen before. Like, you just wouldn't expect to see it on a rugby field. And that obviously comes from the management, So I would personally 100% go with Rassie just because of what he's done, you know?
I think
Sure.
the kind of thing that impresses me the most is the fact that he was open and clear with his long-term goal. When he came in, he said, I am aiming for that 2023 Rugby World Cup. And not only did he say it out loud and he spoke about it the whole time, he achieved it. Like to say something out loud and go and achieve it while you put the pressure on it, because everyone knew South Africa going into this, we've been aiming for this one. But to have grabbed another one along the way with a 2-year turnaround, like that is absolutely crazy to me. So that's why we all agree that Rassie is there. Could it be biased? Yes. Is it true? Yes. Anyway, boys, I've got one more. I hope you guys have been thinking. But
Perfect.
okay. Do you prefer, or would you rather, watch a rugby game live at the stadium or at home with a couple of bezos and friends and family, just like screaming at the TV? What do you prefer? Because it's two very different perspectives, and both are great.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, I'll come to you.
That's a very tricky question, and I ask myself that question a lot because firstly, it depends who I'm going to the game with or who I'm watching at home with. It also depends on what the stadium is and who the who the teams are that are playing. Springbok game, I love watching a Springbok game at a stadium. I anyway come home and watch the whole game again on TV because I always miss stuff. But also, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like at Ellis Park. It's horrible. Firstly, if you're a Lions supporter, be better. Your team needs support. You can't just be 50 people at a stadium. But yeah, that's a tough question. I'm gonna say Springbok games only. I prefer at the stadium. Any other game at home.
Yeah, it is a tough one. Like, you know what? At the end of the day, like Brett says, you miss a lot of things when you go to a stadium. Like, you don't realize how much you actually miss. But obviously that's not an issue. You know, you just go back and watch it back. But it's not obviously live, so you don't get to see it. You don't know it as your first reaction, for example. But yeah, I mean, saying all of that, I'll always be a person that prefers to go to the stadium. Like, it's just how I've been because for example, I'm not a drinker, for example, right? And when I'm around a bunch of people that are like drinking and I'm like there, and when they're at the point where they're like absolutely sloshed and they're just saying ref for like nothing, I'm just like, okay, this is annoying at this point.
Don't you get that at the stadium as well, bro?
You do, but at
You
least
just get these drunk assholes just screaming at Yo Masa all the time, bro. Don't even stop.
I think no, you know what and like especially for a Springbok game, it's just that passion. It's that emotion, you know. Like there's nothing that can top it. I couldn't think of anything better than having that feeling of being at a live game, especially when
Brevon's
the
actually
Springboks
just
play.
there for the fight. He's usually one of those guys that just fights one of the other
Yeah.
guys. You see these random Bull supporters in
I
the
booked my
stadium. They
ticket
just
in
randomly start punching each other. It's ridiculous.
They call it the nosebleed stand right at the top, and then I always book up there, and then get stuck in.
I've probably been to Loftus probably 100 times, if not more, and I think 80% of the time I've seen a fight at Loftus.
Yeah, they're quite wild there in Pretoria.
You just know it's the same as going to a UFC event. You always see these UFC events with like fans afterwards, just like filming some sort of a fight between either the fighters in the crowd or some fans spewing something to a fighter, and then they all just like crash and burn out there. But my opinion on it is obviously I enjoy watching it from home, like with the friends. I mean, more beers in the system than friends at the house, you know. But I love it. I love watching the game, seeing everything. Obviously, nothing tops the atmosphere of at the crowd. But I can't stand not knowing what the whistle is being blown for, or imagine, like sitting, well, not even imagine, when you're sitting, the screen's behind you. You can't even see jack shit on the screen because you're like almost right below it. They blow. You have no replay. I can't see anything, right? And obviously, I've never seen a Springbok game because they don't play in Cape Town. And when they do, you have to be a millionaire to go and watch a game. So then it's like, obviously, I prefer watching it from home more. I'm sure you understand my reasoning behind it.
I was just about to say, when you said the screen is behind you, I was going to say, stop buying the cheap tickets and sit on the grandstand. And then you said, I have to be a millionaire to afford it.
Cape Town's ridiculous. Like, I mean, how much is a ticket to go and watch it at Loftus or at Ellis Park? Let's just say average ticket.
What game?
Springbok game.
Oh, Springbok
against.
like 1.8.
Yeah, nice. Our cheapest felt like, if I'm not mistaken, like 3.5. There you go. Ridiculous. It's craziness. For the same price, I could fly to go back and watch the game. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Anyway, boys, have you guys thought of any of any this or that?
Yeah,
Oh, this one will be spicy because obviously I put it on the group and we two of the different sets of supporters. 2009 Bulls versus 2022 Stormers. This or that. Casual, you go first. I think it's closer than people think.
No, I don't.
Mm.
It's probably the Bulls. Like, I mean, that is the team that kind of made the Bulls. If you look at the names that they had and everything, that's a scary Bulls side. Look at the names that the Stormers had in that team. Yeah, we have a couple of good players, including the best in the world. But at that time, the Bulls probably had all the best in the world. I mean, Fourie de Pre, Victor Matfield. I know Brett hates Victor Matfield, but let's not act like he wasn't one of the best Springboks out there. I mean, Brian Abana. Yeah. Was Mordenstein there?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Space Buckies.
Why is this debate? It's so easy.
I still think it's closer. I think that Stormers 2022 team was very. I still think it's the Bulls, but I think people underrate that 2022 Stormers side.
But we kind of still the same team.
The Bulls had a good no, but still, that's why I said 2022.
So on form.
Look, don't you remember 2010? The Bulls had a terrible year, like absolutely, and I think they finished like bottom half of Super Rugby.
Yes, because they lost all their players to the Stormers.
Well, they lost a banner and Gerard van den Heever. Yeah, they did lose a few actually.
Those 2 try-scoring machines.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I still think that 2022 Stormers was like. I genuinely thought, even though at that time the Stormers had beaten us in the regular season, I thought the Bulls probably had a chance in the final, and not once did it look like they did. It was just like never there.
But that was kind of just based on the performance that he put in against Leinster, right? In that semi-final. That semi-final dreams. It's the same thing as England got in 2019 when they beat the All Blacks. Put in one good performance, and then you get that bit of hope. It just gets snatches away, and you get broken down and stamped on.
I think it's. I'm with Brevin on this one. I think it's closer than people think because I'm trying to weigh up player versus player now, and I feel like
Leland Zas over Abana.
Sorry,
but that's one player. That's
no,
one
Zas
player.
11 and Abana's 11. So no.
I'd go Leland Zas. Guy's amazing.
Lies. Lies.
I think it's exactly the same because Zas can tackle Abana. Abana won't tackle Zas.
Oh, Abana wasn't defensively shaky.
I know, but Zas runs through people.
Brett, do you think Zas could be a Springbok?
No, I don't. I think his handling is quite shite. But think about this. The Bulls backline compared to the Stormers backline of 2022.
Who was their fullback?
Zane Kirshner.
I think it was Kirshner. It was Kirshner.
The greatest Springbok to play the game.
And they had so that's why I'm weighing up my options now, that it's closer. I still edge the Bulls because of that pack and Fourie Priya, but I think
Bernard Olivier was also good. I think Bernard.
It was probably the easiest guy to play against. I've never seen that guy pass in his life.
He wasn't inside centre, to be fair. No,
but Bernard Olivier or Damian Willemse, because Damian Willemse played at 12.
Yeah, okay, Damien. Easy.
Yeah,
okay.
Fair enough. Brett, did you have one in mind?
I did, and then you used it.
Oh, you used the Rassie thing, you chop.
Yes.
Stealing content, ish.
Okay, fair enough. We'll rather just call it 35 minutes.
I'm
Easy,
happy.
quick, done and dusted. We'll talk about the URC. We absolutely spewed out of our arsehole tonight. Like, this was the most unprepared thing that we've ever done. Ever. Anyway, we didn't even say remember to like and subscribe. Because probably get nothing from this one.
I'm working on someone joining our pod.
What, like a guest?
Yes.
This is fantastic news.
That is saucy. That is very saucy.
Current URC player.
Sure. Get excited, people.
It's Damian Willemse.
Oh, dude. Oh, we have to. Well,
listen, if Damian Willemse comes on, Brevan is sitting out. Sorry, brother. That is my.
I've sat out the pot. I've sat out in JP Smith. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, one of us will have to. It will probably be me. No, I'll happily sit out for that. But anyways, we'll get to that when it happens.
So, it's not Damian Willemse, guys. Just relax.
No, obviously it's not Damian Willemse.
Okay, so then I'll sit out because now I got my hopes up now, and now I don't even want to be part. Anyway,
I think I'm just gonna share the link with him, and you guys must be as surprised when you press record. He joins the thing.
All right. Anyway, everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching us just chat a bit of shit. Have a good night, and we will see you on Friday with actual URC predictions, because the URC is absolutely spicy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.